Most of us go on vacation looking for adventure. We picture perfect beaches and stunning views, hoping to come home with stories to tell. This story is about a search for paradise that leads down a path you were never meant to take. A path where the vibrant green of the jungle canopy hides a darkness that's ancient, patient, and waiting. This is a story about two couples who discovered that some places are forbidden for a reason, and that the greatest horrors are waiting just beyond the edges of our comfortable world. For two couples, the resort was a dream come true. AJ and Maya, with their old friends Richie and Jasmine, had found heaven in the jungles of Southeast Asia. Private bungalows, crystal clear water, and a paradise at their doorstep. But every paradise has its forbidden fruit. Here, it was an overgrown path marked by a sun-bleached sign. The words were faded, but the message was clear. Stay out. Respect the ancestors. They figured it was just local superstition. A suggestion. They were wrong. It was a promise. The highlight of their trip was a multi-day kayaking adventure downriver, led by their guide, Nick. It was a chance to see the real jungle. As they prepared, the warning sign felt like a distant memory. They were adventurers, not trespassers. With Nick leading the way, they felt invincible. They couldn't have known the river they were about to travel had its own rules and its own guardians. The journey started peacefully, but the group's own dynamics soon became a problem. During some horseplay, AJ accidentally knocked Richie's kayak, sending him and Jasmine into the water. The accident frayed everyone's nerves and put a dent in their perfect adventure. The real turning point came at their first campsite. Richie wandered off to gather firewood at the edge of the clearing, and then he was gone. No sound, no cry for help. Just a chilling silence. Panic began to set in. Nick, their seasoned guide, urged them to stay put and wait for morning, but AJ wouldn't listen. He insisted they had to find his friend. Against Nick's better judgment, they began a search. As they pushed deeper into the jungle, away from the river, the atmosphere changed. The air grew heavy, thick with the smell of damp earth and something else. Something rotting. They were no longer guests. They were intruders. And for the first time, they all felt the distinct, terrifying sensation of being watched. Instead of their friend, they found signs of something else. Strange figures made of bone and twine hung from trees. They stumbled upon a crudely made pit trap. The feeling of being watched was now an absolute certainty. The first attack was brutally fast. A spear thrown from the undergrowth whistled past AJ's head. It was followed by a blood-curdling shriek that was chillingly human. The search for Richie was forgotten, replaced by a single instinct: run. The chase was a nightmare. Figures moved between the trees, their forms hidden by shadow, herding the friends deeper into unknown territory. In a small, horrifying clearing, their search came to an end. They found what was left of Richie. As the reality crashed down on them, a figure emerged from the trees, let out a cry, and the hunt began again. This story, though fictional, plays on the very real idea that there are places in the world with their own rules, places that don't tolerate trespassers. Have you ever been on a trip where you felt you were somewhere you shouldn't have been? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy these dark tales, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. The survivors, AJ, Maya, and Jasmine, made a desperate run back toward the river. It was their only hope. Exhausted and hurt, they reached the top of a small cliff overlooking the water and jumped. Scrambling into their kayaks, they paddled frantically downstream. For a moment, it seemed like they might make it, but the hope was a mirage. As they rounded a bend, they saw them, figures standing on both banks, waiting. They hadn't been escaping. They had been driven into a trap. A barrage of spears rained down. One hit Maya and she slumped over. AJ, seeing her fall, let out a roar of anguish. But another spear caught him in the shoulder, flipping his kayak. Jasmine was the last one, paddling on as the figures kept pace with her along the banks, her fate sealed. Back at the resort, the four friends were just guests who never came back. A brief search was organized, but the official report listed them as missing, presumed victims of the unforgiving wilderness. Their story became a cautionary tale for new arrivals. But the locals, who have lived on the edge of that jungle for centuries, know the real lesson. They speak of the need for respect. They know some places must remain undisturbed. The jungle has its own rules and it is always hungry.